Can we talk honestly? Can we talk as family here? Is that all right? Many of you have been listening to me for many years. You know my heart on these issues. You know where I'm coming from. But I always want to be sensitive because we become hypersensitized in today's society. There's so much garbage that's out there. There's so much bad stuff that's out there. There, there, there's so many assaults on our personhood, on our sensibilities every day that I want to be careful because there's so much rhetoric out there. Okay, here's my question: can we, together, across racial lines, ethnic lines, across lines of color, can we have a conversation about the current Supreme Court nominee without it being a matter of race? Is that possible? Or a matter of gender? In other words, can we discuss an issue as an issue that is concerning without someone thinking, well, it's about race, or you're just picking on a black woman, or you just don't want another person of color in the Supreme Court? Is it possible to do that? I would certainly hope so among believers. Look, I think it would be wonderful in terms of accomplishments, in terms of diversity, in terms of representation on the Supreme Court, to have a female African American on the court. We all agree that the person has to be sufficiently qualified, obviously. And I can have someone that doesn't have the background, but someone that doesn't have the background won't even be nominated, right? If anyone's going to get this far in the process, be this thoroughly vetted, and then nominated, obviously they've got a lot going for them. They've accomplished a lot. They've done a lot. So now it's going to come down to ideology. Now it's going to come down to history of their decisions. Now it's going to come down to their judicial thinking process, right? So that's what matters to me. In other words, Ronald Reagan made clear he wanted to appoint a woman to the Supreme Court. It wasn't wrong for him to do that. Why were there no women on the Supreme Court? That was right for him to want to do that. However, it was necessary for him to make sure that he picked the right person ideologically and someone who would be a good justice, right? Donald Trump said that in replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it would be a woman. And we were told that he did not previously bring up Amy Coney Barrett. Some said the interview didn't go well between them. Others said, no, he's saving that for Ginsburg. If Justice Ginsburg retires or passes away, then Trump will replace her with Amy Coney Barrett. So when Trump said that he was going to replace a woman with a woman, that's fine. There are plenty of qualified women out there, right? It's not like there are no female justices that are good enough to be in the Supreme Court. So it's just a matter of picking the right one. So here you have two Republican presidents who both said they want to pick a woman for the court, right? Reagan, just in general, the next opening will be a woman. And then Trump, he wants to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with another woman. That's fine. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with President Biden saying that he wants to nominate a black female to the court because there are more than enough that are qualified. All right. There's a way to say it and say, I would love to do that. And if we can find the right person with the right qualifications, we're going to put that person forward. That's fine. It's not affirmative action and saying, well, you're less qualified, but because you're a person of color or because you're of a certain ethnic minority, that we're going to push you ahead of someone else. So a wrong use of affirmative action. No one's talking about that. So I've got no problem, just like with what Reagan did, with what Trump did, with what Biden is seeking to do. It just has to be the right person, right? And as I said, I'm quite confident. No, I'm not an expert in this, but common sense would tell you that there are more than enough female African-American judges to pick from to have someone that is well qualified to be in the Supreme Court. All right. So that's not my issue. I'd love to see it happen. I think it would be great for many reasons. I think it'd be great for America. If there's anything I'd like to see on the court, I'd like to see some evangelicals, because you got Catholic conservatives and others, but you don't have any evangelicals or evangelical Protestants All right. Well, maybe Neil Gorsuch, but would he be evangelical? And anyway, I'd like to see a little more of that, whatever the color or ethnicity. And but I'm totally good with the idea of it would be great to have a female African American justice on the court. It's the ideology that's my issue. So can we have that conversation without anyone calling me racist or misogynist? So listen to this exchange with one of the senators and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, on the question of related to trans issues, but now talking about who is a woman. Let's listen.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not
believe
a
the
biologist.
meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide. So I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about. Just last week, an entire generation of young girls watched as our taxpayer-funded institutions permitted a biological man to compete and beat a biological woman in the NCAA swimming championships. What message do you think this sends to girls who aspire to compete and win in sports at the highest levels?
Senator, I'm not sure what message that sends. If you're asking me about the legal issues related to it, those are topics that are being hotly discussed, as you say, and could come to the court. So I'm not able to.
I think it tells our girls that their voices don't matter. I think it tells them that they're second-class citizens, and parents want to have a Supreme Court justice who is committed to preserving parental autonomy and protecting our nation's children.
All right, so here's my question. And I want to say this again. In today's climate, it's very difficult to have this conversation without someone saying this is all about race. Or why didn't you criticize this one or that one? Or my issues with Coney Barrett and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh had to do with what their ideology was. And I agreed with their ideology by and large. So that's why I was for them. It wasn't for them because they were white or because they were male or because they were female. I was for them because of ideology. And for all I care in that respect, aside from the fact it wouldn't reflect America well, but if all the justices were Hispanic and Black women and their ideology was solid, I'd be happier with that. I'd be a million times happier with that than 9 radical progressive white men. Radically, day and night, in a heartbeat. I choose the former over the latter in terms of ideology and in terms of judicial viewpoint. So here's my question. When asked to give a definition of woman, which is an adult human female, to not be able to do that because I'm, quote, not a biologist. Obviously, she's a brilliant woman. She can define woman. She didn't want to because of what's going on now with trans activism and the attack on gender. Do you want someone like that sitting on the Supreme Court? That's my question. Let me say it again. I would take 9 women, Hispanic, Asian, Black, or all African American, for all I care, who held to a judicial philosophy I agreed with and held to certain values based on the Constitution and our history that I agreed with. I'd rather have them as the justices on the Supreme Court and them making generational decisions than 9 liberal, progressive, white justices. The issue is ideology. So I hope these things really get a fair vote, and it goes beyond partisan politics. I hope there is a fair hearing. And if she's not the right person, I'm confident that there are other Black female justices that could be brought forward, and that President Biden's wish and the wish of many Americans would be fulfilled. Let it be so. That'd be wonderful. Hey, friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click on one of the boxes on the screen, check out another one of our videos, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. You know, we discovered that about 60% of you that are watching our videos aren't subscribers, so subscribe today. Doesn't cost you a dime. And if you want to support our work, Line of Fire, and all the things that we do, follow one of the links on the screen below.